I'm Judith, Content Editor at SVG Europe, and I'm here with Charlie Kraus, Senior Manager, Product Marketing for Online Video Services at Limelight, and Judith Storr, who is Marketing Manager at EMEA. Welcome both. So Charlie, tell us a bit about what you're seeing happening in the sports sector at the minute.
Sure. One thing we're all very excited about on the sports side of our online video services is, as we've seen during the summer, as the pandemic has sort of gone down temporarily, fans have been back in the stadiums. There's been a lot more excitement about live sports. Some of the interesting things that's happened in the market this year is the traditional sports broadcasters are now being competed with by a lot of the larger social media companies, which are competing for rights for very major sports, from any of the the major football clubs in Europe, in the US for NFL football. It's never been seen before, and it's driven up the rights to seasons of games into the billions of, whether it's dollars, pounds, or euros. So with that kind of money in, it's really driven tremendous competitive activity around how do I get the most viewers, because I paid billions for these rights and I have to make money back on it. So they're looking at all sorts of ways of innovating in the fan engagement. How do I make things relevant to them? Users have been trained by broadcast over the years to expect absolute broadcast quality, no rebuffering. It's just a perfect picture. It just works. And they assume online is just like that anymore. There's no more excuses. So it's up the game for everybody. So what I like to say is, start with the basics. Every OTT service should be looking at how they're distributing video. Most partner with CDN vendors to do this. Most use multiples, but you want to make sure that you have reach and capacity coverage in the regions where your audience is, that they view on all kinds of different devices. You have to be able to support that, whether it's large screens or mobile, be able to detect what device they're on, format the video appropriately. It's a very complex workflow. So CDN partnering as third-party networks is just the way to go. So in terms of some things that are new this year, last couple of years, there's been these complaints about the difference in latency between broadcasts at around 5 seconds and online being 30 seconds to around a minute. Well, one thing that's big at Limelight for us is new services for HLS and Dash that use what's called CMAP, or Common Media Application Format encoding, where you break video into much smaller chunks than you normally do. And you can feed them out very fast, even as the encoding is happening. So that's gotten online now to match broadcast latency. So instead of the broadcast lagging by 30 seconds, you can deliver HLS and Dash video at scale into the hundreds of thousands or millions of viewers at the same 5 second or so video as the broadcast. And that's great for the prevalence of multi-screen viewing. Some people may be watching in a sports bar, some people watch at home on their home theater, some people are mobile, and maybe they're all chatting with each other and talking about the same event, but you want to have them see everything at the same time. So that new, this new chunk transfer encoding CMAF delivery is kind of the big thing for sports, for Limelight, and pretty much all CDNs right now.
Okay. And when it comes to fan engagement, what techniques can clubs, leagues, federations, and the like utilize to engage their fans more?
Sure. So they're offering some premium options on subscriptions. So if you're a subscription holder, they're experimenting with things like, I call it key moment alerts. So people may not always be watching every event, but if they have this package with this premium offering, anytime the either players that they follow or sports teams that they follow, when they're having matches, if there's any particular key play or a player that's made a good goal, or let's say the most exciting things, the final minutes of an event where the score is tied, and there's even the idea that it might even go to penalty kicks to decide. And they send out these alerts to their subscribers' mobile devices with a link that they can click on to see a replay of the key moment, or to even, in this case, watch the actual last few minutes of the match or the penalty kickoffs. And besides having a premium on the subscription, there's what they call a microtransaction where they pay for those minutes of the video. So that's one way that's engaging on a premium. They're trying to be more careful about relevancy of ads. If you're an ad-supported service or a hybrid of subscription and ads that try to make the ads more relevant to your audience, either by the region they are or the knowledge that you have of them as an audience, because online has a disadvantage of who your users are. Options online of multiple screen viewing. So let viewers receive multiple camera angles and let them decide which one they want to watch the game on. There's been some good experiments with using multiple angles and stitching them together, so it's almost like a 3D effect where you're watching a match and they're using like a drone above the players and using sidelines, and they stitch it together so it looks like you're circulating around the play that's going on in the field and seeing it from multiple angles, almost as if there was a camera on rails going around. So they're using some very sophisticated software to experiment in the imagery people see. But sometimes just giving them the choice of pick what camera angle, or give them a split screen, let them have an end zone view versus sideline view, that kind of thing. Or when they replay a key play, let them decide what view they want to see of that. So that's something else that they're offering. Or watch two games at once. So you want to watch your favorite team and maybe their biggest rival on a split screen. So all these things are, I have to stress, this isn't something we're waiting for some technology in the future to do. These are all possible to do today for your audience. I mentioned watch together apps as well. This is something that some networks are experimenting with, where 6 people, think of it almost like a Zoom, where they're seeing the same video of the game at the same time, but you see them all together and they can live chat. So the game is actually on a slight delay, just so that the slowest person on the chat is pacing the way they watch it. So they see everything at exactly the same time, can comment about it, just like they used to do if they gathered in someone's home or at a pub together. So all these different kinds of activities now to change what the viewing experience looks like is very hot. And you're going to see a lot of this in 2022.
And what are the challenges are your customers facing at the minute, and how is Limelight helping to solve these?
Sure. Well, in a lot of places, so this is very regional, but in some parts of the world, actual cost of transit and bringing the video to people is a big problem. It's very interesting when you look into how the different networks and telcos cooperate or don't cooperate around the world. Like between North America and Europe, there's a lot more cooperation, where all the telcos realize that if everybody has to make a big infrastructure of links to get this video around and doing the same thing, you're getting a lot of redundancy there. So there's more willingness to sort of share some of the infrastructure. So it saves costs for everybody. But in some parts of the world, there's a lot of geopolitical issues where that doesn't happen at all. So getting traffic in from both either sports feeds or just other entertainment feeds into some regions of the world is very expensive to bring in. So I know in Africa and Middle East, there's a lot of issues around infrastructure and getting content in. So we're seeing things like caching devices, either supplied by CDN vendors, or some of the big social media companies supply content distributors in these regions with these caching devices. So when content is being received, every viewer's content doesn't have to be brought in from outside. Common football things are streamed on one transit link and then distributed within the country. So they're finding, building technology and making infrastructure deals to try to lower their costs of this. Parts of the world that are economically so different, like in Africa, devices are a big deal. Where we live, we don't think much of the cell phone plans that we have and what they cost per month. But I interviewed somebody from Safaricom recently in Kenya, and he said in their country, the average person, what they can afford is 20 cents a day to have a mobile device that they can use to watch events. And this is, these are for people that maybe their daily wage is $5 or $10. So 20 cents is, they have to think about that. So in different parts of the world, the challenges are, immense compared to, some of the things we're used to. And then, the biggest challenge of all, of course, is just so much more competition now than there ever used to be. And so, everybody's had to become more innovative to try to keep their audience and grow it. And that's only going to persist. right? It's not going to get better for that.
Of course. Well, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Charlie, for your time. And how can people find out more about Limelight?
So they can certainly go to limelight.com. That'll take us to the homepage, and we make it very clear. We have all our services up at the top of the page, so they'll see all our on-demand and live video services on offer. Web acceleration, it's all up there, and they'll see offers for reaching out to somebody, free trials, and so forth. We'd happy to help anybody on their journey to make their business more successful.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much.